boxing because there was no fights coming in. No one wants to fight me. It was just the way I hit, the way I moved in, the way I was taught to box. I was very inside, very strong.
It was very difficult for him to get a fight. Like nobody in the province or in the country is really stepping up there to the plate because he's a very even strong individual. He's a good boxer, and he brings a lot there to the table.
I missed it.
Yeah,
it's just something you can't get away from it. Honestly, it's just the getting inside the ring. It doesn't even need to be a fight. It could be sparring, and I'm enjoying it.
I've been training Lewis since he was 16 years old. At the age of 17, is he won a national championship?
John Melick is my one coach. I have other mentors, but it's basically just John. All the time. Did you run? Take your vitamins? Did you do all this? Have you been eating your protein?
Train hard, fight easy. That's the name of the game. Lewis has got so much heart. He just doesn't give up. He just keeps coming. He doesn't stop, until the job's done. If you're watching Lewis, don't blink because he can knock out somebody at any time. I know that he will be champion of the world.
I want to go as far as I can. No, non-stop.
Valdivia coming back after 3 long years. He is excited to make his return to the sport of boxing, and he might have his hands full. Jesus Ortega coming into this bout with a 10-fight win streak. 9 of his 14 wins on his career have come via the knockout. This is going to be a very, very juicy matchup.
Well, and you could see right off the bat in that tail of the tape and in the fact that Ortega is a much bigger, taller fighter. So he's going to want to keep Valdivia to the outside. You saw a little bit earlier, too, how quick he is. That's something that, we're definitely going to keep our eyes on in this matchup. He wants to get to the inside, utilize the power that he has, and I can imagine just lethal body shots coming from Luis Valdivia.
One of the feel-good stories on this card, Luis Valdivia has fought professionally in the Dominican Republic, the United States, but has yet to make it here in Canada. And no better to make your professional debut in the Great White North than here in your home region of Peel. Bouncing around, ready to go, excited for this matchup. As we are now ready for the introductions, we'll throw it now over to Patrick Lono.
Ladies and gentlemen, Presler Law Firm, 401 Dixie Hyundai, Cambridge Hyundai, Save Max, and Phillips Moving proudly present our next bout of the evening. 4 rounds in the super middleweight division. Your judges for this bout are Dr. Marvin Sazant, Mr. Jeremy Hayes, and Mr. Alan Davis. When the bell sounds, your referee is Mr. Dave Dunbar. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing green, white, and red, his pro record, 2 wins, 2 defeats. From Torreon, Coahuila, Mexico, weighing 165 pounds, Jesus Chuy Ortega. And his his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing green and black. He is undefeated as a professional. 3 wins, no defeats, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. From Brampton, Ontario, weighing 163.3 pounds, Luis the Beast Valdivia.
Gentlemen, we went through the rules in the dressing room. I would like a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. We went through the rules. Above here is a good blow. Above here is a good blow. Any questions? Red corner? Blue corner? Touch gloves now, gentlemen. Come out at the bell. Good luck to you both.
Just moments away from this bout. Valdivia in the bright green and black shorts. On the other side, it is Jesus Ortega. The all-Mexican trunks here as we are underway on our second bout on Rogers TV. The pressure immediately on Ortega is Valdivia. Obviously looking to make an impact early on here in Peel.
Well, and he's looking to get on the inside too. Obviously, the longer, leaner, having a larger reach is Ortega. When you're a smaller fighter, that's what you need to do. You have to get in on the inside. A little bit of dirty boxing. Ortega seems pretty smart as well too. He knows that Valdivia is gonna be ducking in, kind of barreling in. So he went for that uppercut early on just to kind of keep him at bay. Let him know that he knows what he's up to. Couple short left hooks too from Ortega.
As you saw in that feature, we had the opportunity to bring our cameras inside the training camp of Valdivia. This is a workhorse. This is a man with some deadly combinations. As you can see early on, closing up the gaps extremely well. The more room you give Ortega, the more opportunities you could showcase some of that knockout power. Big left there to the body of Ortega. Valdivia certainly knows going in, minimizing that space protection is at an all-time high, doing a great job of it. The great combination of offense, defense, being shown by the Brampton native.
Valdivia working the body early too as well to hopefully drop his opponent's hands, and then going in for, we saw earlier too as well, some overhands, which is usually what happens with a smaller fighter versus a larger fighter. But you got to get those hands down first, right?
Absolutely.
He was even doing the same thing by teeing him up with the uppercuts as well. You want to pop that head up.
Head movement spot on right now from Valdivia. We'll take a couple of big shots there, keeping the hands up.
The adrenaline is definitely flowing. I want to see him keep up the same pace throughout the remainder of the rounds as well. That's one thing that's definitely underrated.
Well, it's certainly infectious. Obviously, everybody inside of this building on the edge of their seat for this contest.
Well, the thing is about adrenaline, that adrenaline rush, it also, there's an adrenaline dump afterwards as well, right? So, you know, think about it. This is Valdivia's first fight in 3 years. You know, he's never fought in Canada before. His previous 3 fights where he has that perfect 3-0-0 record, a really nice straight right down the pipe, and see how he went with that left uppercut, hoping to pop up the head, and that's what he did again. He followed up with another uppercut to make sure his opponent's hands are down while the head's getting popped up, right? So he can kind of finish and follow up, which you saw there. something that he was doing quite well was following up on his punches, right? But back to that whole adrenaline issue. Think about his position. He hasn't fought in 3 years. No one in Canada wants to fight this young man. He's a former Canadian champion, so he's got a long layoff. He's never fought in Canada. There are a lot of emotions and adrenaline running right now. So let's see if he can sustain all that kind of energy and pressure throughout these remaining rounds.
Second round underway here. It is Jesus Ortega out of Mexico. And the hometown boy, Luis Valdivia. The Brampton native. A couple of big shots there from Ortega, but again, nothing clean to the way of Valdivia. An exceptional head movement. So quick is Valdivia right now.
Yeah, Ortega's doing a good job here, first of all, keeping his distance, picking his shots, and, using pretty decent angles here. Yeah, he's being exceptionally smart, and he's making sure that, Valdivia is not going to be getting the punches and the looks that he wants.
Being down at ringside, it's such an appreciation on how fit you have to be a boxer. Cardio, conditioning, obviously the heavy breathing from both these young men and all the other boxers that we've seen tonight. It is such a critical aspect of the sport, Michelle.
Valdivia with beautiful shots there. He had a tiny little, a sneaky hook over the top, and then he followed that up with 2 straight punches down the pipe. And you could tell he's here. He's a brawler. He loves fighting. You heard it in the story as well.
He loves fighting.
Yeah, he just loves it.
Yeah,
he's a brawler.
Absolutely. You can see it, the passion inside of that ring tonight.
Missing on those right uppercuts, just barely.
Both sides shouting out direction to their respective fighters. I guess one of the advantages of being the foreign fighter coming in to a place like Canada for somebody like Ortega in their corner, talking Spanish. A lot of people don't know what they're communicating. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah. When Ortega can stay to the outside, he's getting some shots in. He's setting it up with a couple straight hands down the pipe. Then he's, hitting some really good body shots on Valdivia. And it's, and it's funny because when you're just watching, you would assume, that you're going to be a headhunter. The taller opponent is going to be a headhunter because, well, that's the trajectory of your arms. But, he's digging into the body, and he had some really good shots. Even though he's marked up a little bit in that second round, I say he could have taken that second round. And the key points, too, as well, is that he came out of that round very strong, but he started that round also very strong, which, if you ever want to compete in a sport or in the martial arts or anything of that capacity, listen, it's your first and last impression that you leave in a judge's mind. And that's why they always say, hurry it up, go hard that last 30, that last 10, because it truly is that lasting impression in a judge's mind and when they have to score a round.
If you know the backstory of Luis Valdivia, you have such more of an appreciation of what he is doing in that ring tonight. He is not a full-time fighter. He is also, obviously, like many of these fighters, has a second job as a dump truck driver. Gets up at 5 a.m. every morning, works a full day, and then heads into the gym and trains. Not easy for a young man like this, but making ends meet is just sometimes the day-to-day of your average fighter. As we get back to the action. Both fighters putting on a showcase right in the center of the ring. Big shots from the lefts. There's some of that dirty boxing that you were talking about, Michelle. Valdivia, he's just that little pest, just keeps coming every round.
Yep, and that's definitely one thing as well, that even though the more significant shots were landed by Ortega in that second round, you know, Valdivia keeps coming forward, and on defense, think about what a juxtaposition that is, to continue to move forward while trying to defend yourself. Those are two opposite things that you're doing, which he does very, very well.
Missed uppercut there from Valdivia. Look at that combination. Ortega looking to respond. Less than a minute to go in round number 3. Once again, you're watching Championship Boxing. Look at that little finesse there. Look at that left, Ortega.
You're hearing John Melich and Richard Sousse in the corner of Valdivia say body, 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 because right now he is going straight at Ortega's head.
John Melich been training professional since 1982. He's been around the fight game for quite some time. Incredible boxing minds in the corner of Valdivia has only benefited his game here in the professional ranks.
Ortega, you know, no slouch, definitely. He's 2-2-0. And, you know, both losses, unfortunately for him, coming via KO. But he's also been off for the last 2 years. His most recent fight was a knockout loss back in June of 2014. So both of these fighters are looking very good, considering they've had at least 2 years off each. So that's like a really interesting point, just to see the conditioning of these two young men and what they've been able to do, putting on a fantastic show through 3 rounds so far.
So Michelle, 3 rounds in, where are you scoring this fight right now?
That last round was really hard to score. But I'll give it to Valdivia because he has that ringmanship and he does, you know, push forward all the time as well. But that was a really tough one to score. So I have it 2 rounds to 1 for Valdivia.
Well, you can certainly see why nobody at one point in his career wanted to fight this young man. He is a very difficult fighter.
And now you're going to see both fighters kind of go for it here.
Well, this is what they've been training all camp for. This moment right here, final round between Jesus Ortega and Luis Valdivia. Big uppercut combination from Ortega. Now looking to create a little bit more space is Ortega. Ortega got a little message or word there in front of his trunks. Chewy, I don't know if I'm saying that right. But,
Chewy, that's his nickname, yes.
Very good.
I have to look up the Mexican translation because I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Well, that was my next question. Body shot there from Ortega. Exposing the chin, though, of the Mexican.
John Melich getting really vocal in the corner of Valdivia right now, just because, you know, they can see Ortega really putting it on now. Final round. And, you know, even though shots may not be landing because he is putting up a very good guard. It doesn't matter. You don't want to be the fighter on the wrong end, you know, of not being busy. You don't want to be too relaxed, right? You definitely want to be the busier fighter in there.
Valdivia has a small cut on the top of his nose. He's opened up a little bit. Ortega seems to be unfazed, but that'll do it. Exciting fight all 4 rounds. As we mentioned earlier, going into that 4th round, Michelle Storino had that fight marked up as 2 rounds to 1. And it seems like you're giving the final round there to Ortega.
I don't, honestly, this is a tough one. What is going on with this card so far? We've already had a draw between Steve Rainford and Winston Matthews. We had a unanimous decision win a little bit earlier on, which we'll be showing you the highlights of a cruiserweight fight between Lyndon Chambers of Barrie, Ontario, and Brock Arthur out of Ajax. And so now we're getting another decision here. And this is the thing. You never want to leave it up to the judges. We mentioned that after the last fight.
As we take a look at some highlights here.
Tons of action in this fight from both fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You love seeing those knockouts on any card, but give a lot of credit to United for putting on some very evenly contested bouts here tonight early on as we await the decision of this contest. What a great moment it would be, though, if the decision went to Luis Valdivia, his first professional fight in Canada, inside of the Hershey Center here in Mississauga. This crowd will certainly erupt.
Yeah, Ortega was very good at, you know, when he stuck to his game plan, or maybe when he just didn't, I guess you could say, succumb to Valdivia's game plan. He was very good at keeping him to the outside and, you know, utilizing those angles and hitting those shots. I don't know, this is going to be a tough one.
The decision is in. Let's throw it over to Patrick Lono with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds, we go to the scorecards for a decision. Dr. Marvin Sanzant scores the bout 39-37 Valdivia. Mr. Alan Davis scores the bout 39-37 Ortega. And Mr. Jeremy Hayes scores the bout 38-38. Your decision is a draw.
At least I had that right this time. I had that right. 2 fights, 2 draws. This has got to be some sort of a record here for United Promotions.
Definitely not the ideal results for the fans here at the Hershey Center, but again, 2 very evenly contested bouts. You just got to appreciate the great boxing that we've seen tonight from all 4 fighters.